All I did was mount a folded American flag on my porch, my grandfather's from his time in Korea. It sat inside a sealed shadow box, clean, weatherproof, respectful. No lights, no noise, no nonsense. Just pride. For 3 years, no one cared. Then Karen took over the HOA and declared war over my unauthorized political signage. She said it clashed with neighborhood aesthetics. I said she could choke on her garden gnome, politely, of course. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. I thought that would be the end of it. Just another HOA gripe to be ignored. Instead, I woke up the next morning to a bright orange violation notice taped to my door and a $75 fine for non-compliance with ornamental uniformity. What the hell is ornamental uniformity? Karen's house had plastic flamingos, 2 garden flags with corny quotes, and a wind spinner shaped like a duck having a stroke. But apparently, my flag was offensive. I appealed the fine, citing state law and federal veteran display protections. She doubled down and scheduled an emergency board meeting to vote on additional penalties. No warning, no agenda, no invitation for me to defend myself. I knew right then Karen wasn't just playing HOA president, she was building a petty little kingdom where she could pretend to be queen. That weekend, strange things started happening. My trash pickup skipped. My mail was accidentally redirected. The landscaper I hired canceled, saying someone from the HOA told him I was under investigation. Odd. Then the big one hit. Monday morning, I flipped my light switch and got nothing. Thought it was a blown fuse. Checked the box. All fine. Then the fridge shut off. The AC died. My house went completely dead. I called the electric company. They claimed someone from the community had flagged my power meter as a fire hazard and submitted a shutdown request with no inspection. That's when I knew Karen had stepped way over the line. This wasn't about flags. It wasn't even about rules. It was about control. And if she wanted to turn this into a war, fine by me. I've got patience, cash, and a long memory. By Tuesday morning, the heat in my house was unbearable. No AC, no fan. I sat shirtless on my porch, sipping lukewarm water and watching Karen glide by in her smug little golf cart like the witch of suburbia. She gave me a tight-lipped grin and a wave, like she hadn't just turned my home into a sauna. I almost waved back, with one finger. I tried getting an electrician out, but apparently my address was now flagged under a temporary compliance hold. The guy looked nervous just being on my lawn. Said the HOA had sent legal notice to contractors warning them not to perform work until the property was reevaluated. Reevaluated for what? Displaying a flag? Breathing? Karen, meanwhile, was posting photos on the HOA bulletin board with captions like, "Community standards matter. No one is above the rules." She even hosted a neighborhood clean energy meeting and had the gall to talk about reducing grid strain. I guess blacking out my house counted as eco-friendly now. She had the neighborhood fooled, acting like I was the threat while she slowly isolated me like some HOA leper. But I wasn't as helpless as she thought. First, I installed a gas generator, quiet, efficient, and completely legal. When the roar kicked on that night and my porch lit up like a runway, Karen actually came storming down the sidewalk with her little clipboard and a flashlight. Said my generator was disruptive. I told her I'd power it down if she could explain how my fish tank violated HOA bylaws. She left muttering something about citations. Then I started gathering dirt. Not gossip, real dirt. Public records, meeting logs, financial filings. Karen had never filed half the required forms when she seized the HOA presidency last spring. Her election was a joke. 2 votes passed over text message. Her best friend had been secretary and treasurer. Not just sketchy, invalid. And there was more. A landscaping company hired by the HOA just happened to be owned by Karen's cousin. They charged twice the market rate. I cross-checked HOA expense reports with property tax records and found several shady reimbursements for community improvement projects that didn't exist. She wanted a fight over a flag? Oh, I was going to give her one, but not the kind she could see coming. The more I dug, the dirtier it got. Karen wasn't just breaking HOA rules. She was running a sloppy little empire of favoritism, fraud, and intimidation. Her cousin's lawn company had billed the HOA for weekly trims during a 3-month drought. Her husband, listed as community safety coordinator, had received payments for equipment upkeep, whatever that meant. There wasn't a single receipt. It was all House of Cards level corruption, wrapped in pastels and fake politeness. But I stayed quiet, patient, calculated. While Karen skipped around throwing fines like Mardi Gras beads, I was preparing something much bigger than a complaint letter, something poetic. I knew the blackout wasn't random, so I called up a friend from my college days, now an executive analyst for one of the smaller regional power providers. After a few coffees and a couple legal favors, we found it. Karen had leveraged her HOA status to report my power connection as non-compliant. The request got passed through a lazy clerk and shut off without inspection. That's when it hit me. The power company wasn't some giant, unreachable entity. It was owned by a private group of shareholders and already in the middle of negotiations for partial acquisition, meaning they were vulnerable, and I had money to burn. I made calls. I looped in an investment firm I'd partnered with during my startup days. Within 3 weeks, we had controlling interest in the holding group that owned the utility company serving our region. Karen blacked me out to flex power. Well, guess what? I bought the damn grid. I didn't say a word. Let her carry on her HOA witch hunt. Let her think she'd tamed the rebel. Meanwhile, I quietly installed solar panels, got a battery backup system, and went completely off-grid. My house lit up like Christmas, silently running smooth while the HOA paperwork still claimed I had no power. Karen held an emergency meeting to accuse me of illegally restoring service. I showed up with a notarized exemption from the State Energy Commission. She nearly choked. Then came the cherry on top. A week later, during the HOA's big Spring Clean and Shine event, complete with bounce house, food trucks, and a live DJ, someone pressed a button at the regional command hub, and suddenly the entire HOA community went dark. No lights, no air, no bounce house fan, just Karen standing in the middle of the cul-de-sac screaming at the sky. Karen screamed so loud that the DJ's unplugged speakers nearly rattled from the echoes. The HOA barbecue turned into chaos. Burgers half-cooked, kids crying over deflated bounce houses, and one neighbor tripping over a lawn gnome in the dark trying to reset his porch lights. All the while, I stood across the street with a cold drink in hand, porch lights blazing, fridge humming, house glowing like a beacon of untouchable energy independence. She stormed toward me, hair frizzing from the humidity, makeup melting off like wax. "You caused this! You hacked the grid," she screeched, pointing with the rage of someone who'd lost her throne. "This is illegal." I calmly took a sip. "No hacking involved, Karen. You wanted control? So did I. Turns out I just bought more of it." She blinked. "What do you mean, bought?" I handed her a letter, official company stationery. Effective last Friday, I acquired 78% controlling interest in the utility provider that services this region, including all HOA lots. I'm the chair now. You cut my power? I returned the favor. Fair game, right? She tried to speak, but her jaw just wobbled in disbelief. I could see it, the gears grinding in her head, trying to figure out if this was real or some revenge fantasy she couldn't wake up from. "Enjoy the blackout," I added, walking past her. "Should last about 4 hours, just enough time for the chicken salad to spoil and for your HOA reputation to rot with it." But I wasn't done. The next day, I filed a motion with the State HOA Oversight Board requesting a full audit of her leadership. Attached, a 32-page report outlining misappropriated funds, nepotism, and fraudulent elections. I mailed copies to every homeowner in the neighborhood and made sure a copy mysteriously landed on her doorstep. Within a week, Karen was removed, HOA presidency stripped, fines reversed, an emergency board appointed to investigate and refund impacted residents. As for me, I threw a flag-raising barbecue, free food, music, all lights on full blast. And in the center of my porch, lit up with golden spotlights, hung the very same veteran flag she once called unauthorized. The neighborhood clapped. Karen moved out. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think Karen got what she deserved? Comment below.